Been here with Linnworks for a few years. I got my start kind of on the onboarding side of things, and have now been working with the sales organization for a little while. But yeah, today, what we really wanted to talk about was omni-channel selling, right? So selling in multiple different marketplaces, different sales channels, but also cross-border, right? So not only just selling in multiple different markets within the U.S. or Canada or wherever you're located, but also being able to sell globally. Right, being able to find new markets that we can expand to and get connected there. And some of the common challenges that we find when we're going through that is, how are we going to deploy our products, right? How are we going to be able to get those in the hands of our customers simply, quickly, and cost effectively? So we want to talk a little bit about how 3PLs such as ShipBob can really step in and become a great partner to help move that along. And then finally, one thing that can be really challenging is, once those products leave our warehouse or leave our hands, at times it can be really challenging to figure out, where things stand, right? How much do I have where, kind of what are the state of things at my different locations where I'm storing products. So I want to figure out, how we can kind of keep an eye on that, keep things on track, and ultimately just keep those different lanes of selling wide open so that we can continue to grow our businesses. So in order to do that, what I wanted to do is just to kind of go ahead and hop into our platform, Linnworks, which is Linnworks is kind of a lot of things under one roof. We're an inventory management software, we're a warehouse management software, order management software. We can do a number of things underneath that one roof. So what I thought would be beneficial was to kind of talk about these three different kind of areas, right? Diversifying where we're selling, how we can leverage 3PLs to help us sell those products, and then how we can kind of keep an eye on our stock levels around the world, making sure that we're forecasting out enough to ensure that we've got those products at the right place at the right time. So let's go ahead and hop on into Linnworks, and we can kind of walk through some of these different things from our platform. Now, one other thing that I will mention is that while Linnworks is one tool in this space, there are multiple that do a great job at this. So, my hope is today that while we're using Linnworks as an example to talk about some of these different areas, we're not beholden to this one software, right? There are multiple different people, multiple different partners that can really help in this process simultaneously. So yeah, just think of this as one example of many different opportunities and possibilities. All right, great. So where I want to start is going to be here for us. This would be our channel integrations page, or kind of the home base, if you will, of all those different places that we're selling, right? So in order to do this, it's really helpful to have those right tools, those right partnerships, and that right data in place so that we are continuing to perform what we're trying to perform, getting our products into the hands of our customers efficiently, but also profitably, right? So for many IMSs, right, those inventory management softwares, what they can provide oftentimes is a wonderful kind of an open door to new marketplaces, new places that you can be selling, right? So, for most, you can see here, such as Linnworks, we can integrate to the same channel in multiple different times, which can be hugely beneficial if we're doing that, in different countries and different marketplaces. You can see here, in my demo account, kind of the one that I use just to demonstrate software, I've got multiple Amazons, multiple Shopifys. I might be selling in the UK, I might be selling in Mexico and Canada. All are going to require, different integrations. And having an IMS in place can really make that so much simpler and less of a headache, right? It's such a bore, such a challenge. If what's the, I can't remember the phrase, but robbing, is it Peter to pay Paul, I think is what it would be. So if I sell something, out of my UK Amazon account, if I don't have an IMS in place, I have to remember that, hey, I got to go update my Amazon US channel. I got to update eBay. I got to update my Shopify stores that, hey, I have one less now available to my customers. But having something like this in place just really makes that a breeze. You don't have to think about that any longer. The software is taking care of that for you, making sure that those inventory numbers are accurate everywhere you're selling, and then we're keeping up with that for you in the background, right? So not only are we doing that for the places that you sell today, but like I mentioned, software such as this can open the door to brand new places to sell that you might not have otherwise thought to. As we're going through for so many of these softwares, Linnworks in particular makes it really, really simple to get connected in other places and really diversify, the different sets of eyes that can view your products and ultimately have the opportunity to purchase from you. And what you'll see here, Linnworks, just like so many others, all the big wigs, all of the the kind of major players in the market, we're going to have those here. Your Amazons, your Shopifys, your eBays, your Big Commerce, your Magentos, all of those. Most everywhere, everyone is going to integrate there, so it makes that pretty simple. But what you'll find is that many of these IMSs will also give you access to smaller niche markets as well. So maybe there's a market for your products in Germany, and then there's like a niche little marketplace that really is only widely used in that country. But if you could get your products in front of those people, it might sell really, really well. Having software in place to help you list those products efficiently, simply in new markets can just be a great way to diversify what you're selling and where you're selling in particular. Something that I think about or that I've heard in conversations with different prospects looking to help bring some organization to their business or their warehouse is that when you're dealing with some of these major markets, your Amazons, your eBays, your Walmarts, at times it can really be difficult to cut through the noise. If you're kind of small to mid-market size business, you're trying to grow your brand, you're trying to grow your footprint, it can be challenging to really earn that buy box or ensure that the right people are seeing your products. By diversifying and entering in some of these smaller marketplaces, it can be a lot easier to stand out and a lot easier to ensure that your voice is being heard. So leveraging software to help that, along the process, and whether that's an IMS that's integrating with all these different places, maybe you've got a listing software in play that's taking care of that for you. Regardless, what we would encourage as we're trying to focus in on this, omni-channel cross-border selling, is that we're not limiting ourselves just to the places where everyone's selling, but look into some of those smaller, more niche marketplaces as well. Wonderful. Okay, so all right, let's slow it down a little bit. So we're a business. We've been in business for a few years. We've got a great core audience, here maybe in the U.S. We're thinking about trying to diversify and expand things a bit. So, all right, we've decided, hey, we want to start selling in the U.K. We think that maybe I've got a clothing line that I think will really do well there. And so I want to start selling over there. I want to create maybe a brand new Shopify store that's specific to my UK audience. Or I want to, spin up a brand new Amazon store specific to the UK. So now we've decided that. So now the next thing that we need to think about is how are we going to get our products to those new customers quickly, efficiently, ensuring that we're not going to miss out on sales by long, drawn-out shipping processes, but also, more importantly, how can we do that affordably, right? If I'm in the middle of Missouri and selling products to someone over in Central Asia, for example, or a customer in India buys something, that's going to be very, very expensive for me to get that all the way across the world. So if I'm anticipating that market growing, then I would want to leverage a partner like ShipBob or another 3PL saying, hey, let me get my products a little bit closer to the customers that are buying them. That way we can make our customers happy with expedited shipping, and then we can keep our business profitable so that we're not losing money having to pay extra to travel that long distance. So what's nice is when you take into consideration softwares, an IMS like Linnworks, what we're able to do is we're able to kind of have one central hub where we have all of our products laid out. We've got some basic product information for those. But most importantly, with having software such as this, we can view those inventory quantities for all our products in real time, right? So you can see here in my own warehouse, these are all the products that I've got, mostly apparel. I can track what my available quantities are at any given time. So I know what's available to my customers. So they can go on to any and all of my different sales channels. And then I can trust that the numbers that are being pushed out in front of my customers are accurate, right? That we're not having to do that real fun dance, and it's not fun at all, where you're saying, okay, I've got 100 of these hats. I sell on eBay, Amazon, and Shopify. I guess I sell, most of my sales are coming in from Amazon. So maybe I'll put 50 hats with Amazon, and, with eBay and with Shopify, those are a little less. We'll do 25 a piece over there. What? That limits so much to what you could potentially be selling to your different customers. Having to determine ahead of time and allocate X, Y, or Z amounts of inventory to those different channels and marketplaces, that can really limit your sales opportunities, right? If you've got 100 units, you want to tell everywhere, far and wide, hey, I've got this many units to sell. I don't care where you purchase them. As long as you're purchasing them, we're all set, right? So that's such a great option with something like an IMS, being able to push those numbers out accurately everywhere. And no matter where you sell that product, we're going to maintain those inventory volumes, making sure that they remain where they need to be. So you can see here in my warehouse, I'm viewing all those inventory quantities. But when we decide that we want to start expanding globally, right, we want to start selling cross borders, what can happen is, I don't want to say that all of my inventory is available to some of those markets, because I can't promise that I can get that inventory to them quickly enough to satisfy the customer's needs. So instead, what I would do instead is let's use that Amazon, that UK channel that I mentioned earlier. So say I want to start selling in the UK and that area of Europe. Well, I want to go ahead and develop a relationship with a 3PL over in London, so that way I can say, all right, I'm going to spin up a couple of new channels that are going to be selling to these markets, and I want you to fulfill all those orders for me, so that way we can save on shipping and just some general headache, right? We'll let them take care of those orders since they are well-versed in doing so. So we've decided the markets we want to sell in. We've identified some partners via ShipBob or other 3PLs that we want to help us fulfill those orders. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get inventory in the hands of those individuals, right? So I've sent over my inventory to my London 3PL. But what can be challenging is as soon as that inventory leaves our warehouse, oftentimes, we're relying on those 3PLs to update us with how much they have. What's the current inventory quantity looking like? Are sales going well in those different markets? Do we have enough inventory in those different markets at those 3PLs? Do we have too much? Are we getting overcharged because I've got too much inventory sitting on the shelves in those different markets at those different 3PLs? With an IMS like Linnworks, one thing that is really, really beneficial is we can create different locations that represent all of those different 3PLs. And with our, functionality with our software, I'm not sure that all IMS can do this. I know that some can, but with ours, what we have the ability to do is create connections between those 3PLs that you're partnered with and our software, so that any given time you can have a live look at what your inventory quantities are at each of those different locations, right? So you can see here, if I select this drop down, I can go to my Linnworks London 3PL, and I select this, Now I can see all my products that exist in that location. So that these are the products that are at my London 3PL. And I can see those current inventory quantities listed out right here as well. So it just kind of opens up, it gives your inventory a level of integrity that at times can be super frustrating to a lot of people that we talk to, right? They're dealing with spreadsheets. If we're talking about different markets, those are different time zones. So, your main person of contact is awake when you're asleep and vice versa. It can be challenging, to find the time to talk to them. It can be easy to forget they forgot to send me my spreadsheet. I don't know what my numbers are right now. Or, they just contact you like, hey, we're out of this product. And we still have orders coming in for them. It's like, oh no, I would have taken the listing down if I knew that I was out of stock. By automating a lot of this, leveraging software to connect these different important disparate pieces of your business, it can really make everything cohesive and provide you with great insight into how things are moving, what products are selling, where they're selling. And that can help inform you, where do I need to invest? Where do I need to, maybe put some dollars into marketing, or think about product line expansion. By leveraging software to help automate many of these different steps and many of these just kind of challenging headaches, it can free up time, and it can free up energy, and it can free up resources to be able to invest into different areas of your business, encouraging growth and making sure that we're keeping the ship sailing smoothly, right? So you can see here, we've got all these different products. We can have multiple different locations. And you can see here, I've got multiple 3PLs. I've got one out in California. I've got one in Tallinn, Estonia. I've got one in Texas, multiple different places where I'm storing my products and can deploy these different orders from, right? So, Tallinn, Estonia, say for example, I'm out of a product in my London 3PL, but an order's come in through there. Well, I could send it from my warehouse in California, but I happen to have some units of that product in my Estonia 3PL as well. So while I could send it from either place, it's actually going to be a bit cheaper to send it from Estonia. So with a system like Linnworks, what we would do is we would just route that order, say, hey, instead of sending that order over into the London 3PL, let's go ahead and instead send that over to Estonia and let that team go ahead and fulfill that order for me. Still saving some money on shipping, but also just trying to highlight the benefits of having that diversified kind of portfolio at your fingertips, or maybe not portfolio, but having your inventory diversified across multiple different places, which can be, really beneficial when we're talking about trying to expand globally, right? So great. Well, 2 steps down, right? We've got the new markets we want to sell in. We've got some partnerships with 3PLs like ShipBob, so that we know we've got trusted individuals that can ensure our orders are getting fulfilled timely and accurately to our customers. So that third piece we want to focus on is, now that we've got insight into what our inventory quantities are, we can see what's, we're getting a little bit low here. We need to go ahead and send more inventory over there. And that's great, right? We can kind of see those numbers move and fluctuate. But when we start to sell in new markets, oftentimes, we can't really predict or trust that we know how these different products are going to be sold in these new markets. We need some data behind that to help us make informed decisions about, where we need to be investing in terms of inventory, right? So one way to do that is really leveraging some sales forecasting and some different data points that we can use to help ensure that we've got the right amount of products at the right place. So as you can see over here within Linnworks, we've got multiple different views that we can look at our inventory. And the one that I'm looking at right now is going to also focus on our forecasting. So not only can we see our stock levels, and again, I'm still in my London 3PL. I'm not back home here in Tennessee, but I can see my current stock levels at the London 3PL. I can see what's in open orders currently, so then I've got a more accurate idea of what's my available quantity. But I can also start to see some forecasting information listed out here too. So you can see I've got my daily average consumption rate that's listed out right here. So what I can learn here is, how many units of products, or how many eaches, is another common term you hear to describe, your different products or the individual units. How many of those am I going through day by day, right? We can see kind of over time, based on the order volume, what's going out the door, we can start to generate an idea of how many units you're going through each day. But what's really nice about a system like Linnworks is not only can we do that for your overall business, but we can drill down even further, and we can do that by a location. So this daily average consumption, this is relevant to my Linnworks London 3PL specifically. So we're not beholden to just that, how's this product performing across all of my platforms? What we can do is get further specific because of data and know how these products are operating or how they're performing in these different marketplaces. And with that, we can leverage that sales data to say, hey, based off of what I'm seeing here, pardon me. At Linnworks, we have two different products that we sell, our Linnworks product and our Ski Vault product. So I get tripped up from time to time. But here within Linnworks, it's going to tell us the amount of inventory that we should be ordering to send to this specific 3PL based on data, right? So what kinds of data are we talking about? Well, we can see the amount of units we're going through day by day with this daily average consumption rate. When we go to create these products, we can also include different bits of information to help with making those calculations of how much to reorder. Some of those different pieces of data would include your velocity. So, it's great. Say in the last month, I've sold 100 units of one product. Well, it's very different if I sold 100 units on one day when I ran a flash sale versus if I sold 100 units based off, spread out over all 30 of those days. If I only sold a whole bunch of this product because it was a flash sale, well, I probably need to reorder a little differently than if this is just steadily selling day in and day out. I might want to not order too much right now and wait until I want to run another sale before I go ahead and order a lot more. So with this forecasting, we're able to take into consideration that velocity when we're making recommendations on what to reorder. We're also able to take into consideration seasonality, right? So if it's, here we are in May, probably don't need to order a bunch of sweatshirts and sweatpants right now. Might need to wait until it's getting more to be like July, August, September, in preparation for the fall and winter months to come. So our program or our software is going to take into consideration those types of variables as well. So velocity, seasonality, and this isn't unique to Linnworks. So to be very clear, there are plenty of other forecasting tools out there that can provide similar information. What's great is when we can do it not only for our products in general, but we can be really specific about the different 3PLs or different marketplaces that we're talking about too. So that way, we're not making, the same considerations for our biggest market as we are for our smallest. We can have that data-driven information to help guide what we're going to do with our business decisions. And so then finally, the last piece that I'll bring in concerning stock forecasting with Linnworks in particular would be that not only can we take into consideration the velocity and the seasonality, but also that lead time, right? If it's going to take me, 2 weeks to get product, that's great. That's a fairly quick turnaround. But if I got to go, contact my manufacturer in China and they need 6 months lead time to go ahead and do a different run of this product, that's going to be very important when it comes to when, we've got the what down. We know what to reorder based off sales and those other elements we talked about, but also when do I need to reorder it? What's great, and forgive, this is my demo account, so there's some pretty dated information in here, but you can see, based off of what we know for this product, we would need to order it by March 25th in order to ensure that we get all of that inventory where it needs to go so that we're not missing out on sales, right? With our tool, we would typically reorder based off of days on hand. So I want to have at least 50 days on hand worth of inventory at any given time. So we would go ahead and make recommendations on what to order based on that. or we would double the lead time, right? And, I want to have enough, I want to order enough inventory that I could fulfill, the amount of orders that we have learned are going to be the average for twice the amount of time it takes me to get products. So that way I don't run out by the time that those actually get there and we're able to continue making those sales. So number of different ways, and a lot of these softwares, they make it super simple. If we want to restock, great. We want to restock just to our minimum stock level. Cool. We can set a data point when we create these products. Hey, I don't want to have less than X number of units in my inventory at any given time, right? So you can see here, we've got those minimum levels listed out. So for this product, don't want to ever have less than 200. For this one, I don't want to ever have less than 110. Oh, I've only got 91 available. That's why we're seeing this as yellow. So, Linnworks, wonderful tool, super powerful, and makes things very easy to really interconnect your business across all the different marketplaces you're selling and all of your partners that you're using to help with fulfillment, like ShipBob. But many of these different inventory management softwares do something similar. So, being able to leverage that software, ensuring that you're, getting the most out of your business and making sure that we're not missing sales, but also that we don't have too much inventory there. I know Amazon in particular can really ding you if they've just got boatloads of your inventory sitting around taking up space. We want to make sure that we've got the right amount where it needs to go. So leveraging tools such as this can really, be beneficial and can not only make your life easier, but oftentimes can make your life more profitable. So, just a couple of key takeaways. Just wanted to kind of go through, diversifying, where you're selling, making sure that you've got, more avenues of revenue available to you. Being able to stand out in smaller niche markets, not having to kind of combat the noise so much can be super beneficial. By leveraging software such as an IMS, really keeping that inventory integrity as being paramount to your business, knowing what you have, where it's located, and how many you can expect to find there, whether that's in your warehouse going aisle by aisle, shelf by shelf, or whether that's your multiple 3PLs you might have across the country or across the world. Keeping that inventory integrity is hugely important. And then finally, making sure that we've got the right amount of product where it needs to be and when it needs to be, so that we're not missing out on sales. We're keeping our 3PLs well stocked, ready to go ahead and support whatever volumes we're getting in, and then making sure that we don't ever, have too much or run out ahead of time. So that way we're always on top of our fulfillment game. So, yeah, I'll stop there. I know we've just got a couple minutes left, but if there were any other questions or anything, then I'm here for however I can help.
Well, Bill, that was so insightful. We're seeing more and more brands realize that selling outside of your domestic borders, selling across channels is no longer a nice to have, it's a must have. And with tools like Linnworks and Skewvault as well, it's great to see that it's easier than ever before. So I didn't see any questions come in, so I do think that we can end it a little early. Well, early, we have 26 seconds left. But really appreciate you coming in today. As I mentioned before in the chat, the recording will be sent straight to your inbox as soon as it's processed and available. And we appreciate you all joining for today. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and reach out to us if you have any questions.
Thanks all.